Somewhere in a garage, right now, a 40-year-old lawnmower is starting on the second pull. The deck is surface rusted. The paint is gone. The handle grip has been wrapped in electrical tape for the last decade. But the blade spins true, the engine idles clean, and the cut is as level as the day it left the factory. 3 driveways down, a mower that came out of a Lowe's box 18 months ago is sitting in pieces. The plastic deck cracked around the right rear wheel mount. The manufacturer does not sell replacement decks. The repair shop quoted $220 in parts and labor on a mower that cost $310 new. The homeowner is standing in the aisle at Lowe's right now, buying another one. This is not bad luck. This is the business plan. In this investigation, we are going to walk through exactly what changed between the mower your father bought in 1985 and the one sitting in a cardboard box at your local big box store today. We are going to name the specific materials, the specific failure modes, the specific corporate decisions that turned a 30-year tool into a 4-year disposable product. And we are going to tell you exactly what to buy instead. The consumer lawnmower industry has a problem it does not want to talk about in public. The problem is that it figured out how to make a product that is just durable enough to survive the return window, just functional enough to pass through the warranty period, and just cheap enough to manufacture that replacing it is more economical than fixing it. They engineered the exit before you ever cut the first blade of grass. They call it value engineering. We call it the deliberate collapse of a product category that was, for 40 years, one of the most reliable mechanical tools an American homeowner could own. Here's how it happened. In 1985, a consumer walk-behind mower from Craftsman, Snapper, or any comparable brand was built around a welded steel deck, not stamped sheet metal, not injection molded thermoplastic. Welded steel, 10 to 14 gauge, approximately 2 to 3.5 millimeters thick. That deck was designed to absorb impacts, resist rust through sheer material mass, and last as long as the engine bolted to it. The engine was a Briggs Stratton or Tecumseh unit with a cast iron or all metal block. It had an oil drain you could reach. It had a spark plug you could replace in your driveway with a wrench from the kitchen drawer. It had a carburetor a competent teenager could clean on a Saturday afternoon. The inflation-adjusted price of that 1985 mower in today's dollars is roughly $380 to $550. You paid for a tool. You got a tool. That tool is still running in garages across this country 40 years later. Now, look at what you get for the same money today. The deck on a modern entry-level consumer mower sold at a big box retailer is stamped steel at 0.8 to 1.2 millimeters thick, sometimes less than half the gauge of its 1985 equivalent, reinforced with injection molded plastic brackets and wheel housings. Some models have abandoned steel decking entirely and moved to full injection molded polypropylene construction. The engine is an aluminum block unit with thin cylinder walls and plastic shrouds, and on certain sealed designs, there is no oil drain plug. The manufacturer's position is that you do not change the oil. You run it until it fails, and then you buy another mower. Consumer Reports' lead lawnmower tester, David Trezza, documented what that looks like in practice. Steel decks on modern consumer mowers are perforating from interior rust within 2 to 5 years of normal residential use. He described his own experience. His personal mower's metal deck rusted through. Not rusted on the surface, rusted through. On a mower that was not yet old enough to be in a different decade than the one it was purchased in. The reason this happens faster on a thinner deck is basic electrochemistry. Galvanic corrosion accelerates as the base material becomes thinner. A 14-gauge steel deck can develop surface rust and lose material for 15 years before structural integrity is compromised. A 1mm stamped deck can perforate in 3 seasons under the same conditions. Same grass clippings. same humidity. Same parking in a garage that is not climate controlled, different physics. To save between $12 and $18 per unit in manufacturing cost, they cut the steel gauge in half. To save another $4 to $8, they replace steel wheel housings with plastic injection molded components. The plastic around the wheel mounts is the first thing to crack. The cracking begins at stress risers around the bolt holes, propagates outward under repeated vibration, and within a season or two, the wheel assembly becomes structurally loose. Once the deck geometry is compromised, the blade arc is compromised. The cut becomes uneven, the vibration worsens, the cracking accelerates. The failure mode is a ratchet. It only moves in one direction. And here is the part that matters economically. When you call the manufacturer about a cracked deck housing, you are told that replacement deck assemblies are not sold separately. The retail cost of a replacement deck assembly, if you can find one, runs between $180 and $250. The cost to manufacture that same plastic assembly is under $40. But the manufacturer's preferred solution is not repair. It is replacement. A new mower, another $350 transaction, another warranty clock that starts running. Industry repair guidelines make this explicit. If the repair cost reaches 50 to 60% of the replacement price of a new mower, replacement becomes the economically rational choice. On a $300 mower with a $200 repair, you are past that threshold. You buy another mower. That is not a coincidence. That is a ratio that was engineered.
You're probably looking at your own mower wondering if it'll last that long too. Here's the thing. You don't need a 1985 machine to get 1985 longevity. You just need to know what they know. So before you waste thousands on repairs and replacements, check out the new maintenance protocol that keeps machines running for decades. Best part is it's not just a list of maintenance tips. It actually shows you what kills these mowers, how to spot trouble in your own engine before it dies, and which parts to buy without getting jerked around at the dealer. And it doesn't matter if you've got a walk behind or a riding mower, there's one for both. Plus, every book comes with a printable maintenance calendar and more. Scan the QR code or tap the link up top. Use code MarkTalksQuality for 15% off. Make it last.
Now let us look at this from a lifetime cost perspective, because this is where the real fraud becomes clear. Your grandfather bought 1 or 2 lawnmowers in his lifetime. Inflation adjusted, he spent somewhere between $500 and $1,100 on lawn care equipment across 40 years of home ownership. He may have spent another $100 on spark plugs, air filters, blades, and carb cleaner. That was the total cost of maintaining a half-acre lawn for a generation. The modern homeowner, buying mowers on a 4 to 7 year replacement cycle, will purchase 4 to 6 mowers across the same period of home ownership. At $350 per unit, that is $1,400 to $2,100. More money, less machine. A product category that has successfully doubled its revenue per customer by cutting the lifespan in half. And the brand names on those mowers are the same brand names your grandfather trusted. That is not accidental. Craftsman was a Sears brand for decades. It meant something in the American garage. Beginning in the late 1970s, Sears relied on outside manufacturers to produce Craftsman outdoor equipment, with production moving through several hands over the following decades. In 2017, Stanley Black & Decker acquired the brand entirely. The brand name stayed American. The engineering did not. The same consolidation pattern played out across the category. Troy-Bilt is owned by MTD Products, which also manufactures for Cub Cadet. As of 2021, MTD itself was acquired by Stanley Black & Decker, meaning Troy-Bilt, Cub Cadet, and Craftsman now all sit under the same corporate umbrella. Murray is now a Briggs & Stratton brand. The shelf at your local Lowe's, which appears to offer a choice between 6 different brands, is largely offering variations of the same manufacturing supply chain in different colored decks. The Briggs & Stratton engine in your Troy-Bilt today is not the Briggs & Stratton engine your father's Craftsman ran in 1985. The company that makes the engine is the same. The engine it makes today is not. Let us walk through the specific failure points, because this is where you get your money's worth from this investigation. The deck is the primary failure point on modern consumer mowers. We have established the gauge issue, but the failure mode extends beyond rust. On plastic deck models, ultraviolet embrittlement begins the moment the mower is removed from the box. UV radiation degrades thermoplastic polymers by breaking the polymer chain bonds. The material becomes more brittle with every season. A plastic deck that flexes without cracking in year 1 will crack under the same impact in year 3. Rocks, exposed tree roots, hard turns against curbs. These are normal operating conditions for a residential mower. The plastic deck is not engineered to survive normal operating conditions for more than a fraction of the lifespan it implies. The first visible warning is hairline cracking around the wheel mount bosses. By the time those cracks are visible, the structural compromise is already significant. Clippings begin escaping under the deck, indicating the blade air column has been disrupted. The cut becomes uneven. This is not a maintenance issue. This is the material reaching the end of its engineered service life. The engine presents a separate category of failure. Sealed aluminum block engines with no published torque specifications and proprietary blade adapters are not designed to be serviced. They are designed to be run until they fail. The aluminum cylinder walls on sealed consumer engines are significantly thinner than the cast iron counterparts in vintage Briggs & Stratton units. When an aluminum engine overheats, because the plastic shroud cracked and interrupted the cooling airflow, or because the owner did not change oil in a sealed design that does not have an accessible drain, the cylinder wall scores. That engine is finished. A replacement engine assembly, if you can source one for a modern consumer unit, costs more than the mower is worth. The sealed engine design is defended as reducing maintenance burden for the average consumer. That framing deserves examination. The average consumer's 1985 Briggs & Stratton engine ran for 20 years without major failure, specifically because it was serviceable. The homeowner could change the oil, could clean the carburetor, could replace the spark plug. The accessibility was not a burden, it was the reason the engine lasted. Replacing a serviceable engine with a sealed, non-repairable unit and calling it a consumer benefit is the same rhetorical move as saying a disposable razor is better than a straight razor because you do not have to sharpen it. True in the short term. Catastrophically expensive across a lifetime. The wheel and drive systems on modern self-propelled consumer mowers use plastic gear cartridges in the transmission. When those gear cartridges strip, and they strip, typically within 3 to 5 years of regular use under normal load, the self-propel function fails. The repair requires a full transmission cartridge replacement. Parts markup on those cartridges, when they are available at all, runs between $60 and $90 for a component that costs the manufacturer under $15 to produce. Labor brings the total repair to over $120 on a mower that may have cost $300 originally. You are back at the threshold. You buy another mower. The blade brake clutch is the one area where modern consumer mowers genuinely improve on their 1985 counterparts. The blade brake stops the blade independently of the engine when the operator releases the handle. This is a real safety advance. Older mowers require engine shutdown to stop the blade, which is slower and less reliable in emergency situations. This improvement is real. It is also not expensive to manufacture. It should not be used to justify the degradation in every other system. Now, let us talk about what happens when you try to get the builder, or in this case, the manufacturer, to make it right. The modern consumer mower typically carries a 2 to 3 year warranty on the deck and a longer warranty on the engine, with terms that vary by manufacturer and model. Those numbers sound reasonable. Here is the problem. The deck failure mode on a thin gauge or plastic deck typically begins manifesting structurally in year 2 and becomes repair critical in years 3 through 5. By the time the failure is undeniable, the deck warranty is at the edge of its coverage or past it. The engine warranty covers defects in materials and workmanship. It does not cover failure resulting from normal wear, lack of maintenance, or operating outside specified conditions. On a sealed engine with no accessible drain, the manufacturer's position in a warranty dispute is that the owner failed to maintain the oil. The owner's position is that there was no accessible way to do so. These disputes resolve in the manufacturer's favor. The warranty was a marketing tool. Parts availability on modern consumer mowers drops sharply after 5 to 7 years post-production. The manufacturing supply chain for a budget consumer mower is not designed to support a 30-year parts availability window. Once the model is discontinued, specific deck hardware, proprietary blade adapters, and sealed transmission cartridges become unavailable through official channels. The repair option closes. The replacement option is the only option, which is the point. Meanwhile, a 1985 Craftsman or Snapper mower with a Briggs Stratton engine from that era has parts available from dozens of independent suppliers right now, 40 years later. Because the engine design was standardized, because the components were not proprietary, because the machine was built to be repaired, not to be replaced. So what do? If you are in the market for a walk-behind mower right now, here is the framework. First option, find a pre-1995 consumer mower with a steel deck and a serviceable Briggs & Stratton engine. Budget between $150 and $400. Allocate another $50 to $100 for a tune-up. Fresh spark plug, new air filter, carburetor cleaning or rebuild kit, blade sharpening. You will own a machine that may outlast the next 3 mowers you would have bought new. Look specifically for 10 gauge or heavier steel decks, greasable wheel bearings rather than sealed cartridge bearings, and an accessible oil drain. Second option, if you need a new mower and prefer to buy new, step up to commercial grade residential equipment. Exmark, Skag, and Honda's commercial walk-behind series are built with steel decks and serviceable engines. Price entry points vary significantly by brand. Honda's commercial residential models can be found starting around $1,200, while Exmark commercial walk-behinds start closer to $1,800, and Skag runs higher still. That sounds like a significant increase over a $350 big box unit. Across a 20-year ownership period, it is not. It is less. Third option, if your yard is a half acre or smaller and you want a battery-powered solution, the Ego Power Plus platform offers a meaningful alternative. The battery modules are compatible across the Ego tool ecosystem, which means a battery you buy for the mower can be used in a string trimmer, a blower, or a chainsaw. The cross-tool battery value changes the economic calculation. Ego's 22-inch self-propelled models have earned top marks from Consumer Reports. They are not tools for the ages, but they are not designed to be thrown away in 4 years either. Fourth option, if your yard is small enough for a reel mower, the American Lawn Mower Company's 14-inch reel mower is mechanical simplicity at its most durable. No engine to seal, no plastic deck to crack, no transmission to strip. A reel mower sharpened annually and stored properly will outlast everything else on this list. If you already own a modern consumer mower and it is still running, here is how you extend its life. Sharpen the blade every season. A dull blade tears grass rather than cutting it, which increases vibration loads on the deck and deck fasteners. Change the oil every season if you have an accessible drain, and check at the beginning of every season regardless. Store the mower off the ground, on blocks or on a mat, to prevent standing moisture from accelerating deck rust from the underside. Drain the fuel at season's end or use a fuel stabilizer. Clean the underside of the deck after every 3 to 4 mowing sessions. Grass clippings hold moisture against the steel and accelerate interior corrosion. These steps will not transform a 4-year machine into a 20-year machine, but they will extract every usable season from what you have. When the repair cost crosses 50 to 60% of replacement cost, do not buy another budget consumer unit. That is the moment to step up, because the next $350 mower will put you back in front of the same decision in 4 years. Here is the verdict. A lawnmower is not a complicated machine. It is a combustion engine bolted to a steel box with a spinning blade. Your grandfather understood how it worked. He could fix it in the driveway. It lasted until he did not need it anymore, and then he sold it to someone who mowed with it for another decade. What is sitting on the shelf at Lowe's today is a machine engineered to the minimum standard required to survive the warranty period and generate the next transaction. It is not built to last, it is built to be replaced. The steel is thinner than it needs to be. The plastic is cheaper than it should be. The engine is sealed tighter than any honest mechanic would recommend. Every one of those choices saved the manufacturer $12 to $18. Every one of those choices will cost you $350 4 years from now when you stand in that aisle again. Stop buying the marketing, start buying the engineering. Demand steel, demand serviceability. Demand a machine you can fix in your own driveway with a wrench and a spark plug. A mower that starts on the second pull after 40 years is not nostalgia. It is evidence. It is proof that the tools we build reflect the values of the people who build them. Build it to last, and it lasts. Build it to fail, and it fails on schedule. Buy accordingly.